All right, part 2, 8.7, dividing scientific notation numbers. Okay, the same exponent rules as if we divided exponents when we subtract, and similar to the multiplying of scientific notations, we're just going to divide the two numbers. So if you look at what we do, divide the numbers together, or the whole numbers, so 3.7 and 2 in this example, you just divide those. You're going to get probably some kind of decimal point. Maybe not, maybe a whole number, either way. Then you divide the powers. And remember, when we divide exponents, you subtract the top from the bottom. So sometimes that could end up as a negative number. Now in this case, we're okay with negative numbers because it's scientific notation, so we don't need to move it to the bottom of the ratio or the fraction to make it positive. We're just going to leave it. Okay. So in this example, 3.7 divided by 2 gives us 1.85. 10 minus 3 gives us negative 3, so it's 1.85 to the negative third. Pretty straightforward as far as how we do these problems. So you are going to want to have your calculator ready for this one, so we can type those in. So let's go to our Desmos calculator, or any calculator that you have so you can do these problems. So let's take a look. See, we have part A. We can do 2 divided by 8. 2 divided by 8. And you want to keep these as a decimal. I mean, I know that's 1/4, it reduces. But because we're dealing with scientific notation, let's leave it in decimal form. So this is 0.25. Now we have 3 minus 8, and that's going to give us what we are going to use for our exponent. Remember, it's always times 10. So we do 3 minus 8, and that gives us negative 5. So, just like we did on the previous section, we need to be able to adjust this exponent. And we do that because we have to move this between the 2 and the 5, because this whole number right here is not between 1 and 10, less than 10, greater than 1. So we need to make this a 2.5, and by doing that, we move the decimal place over 1. So times 10, and if we move it over 1 to the right, what we are doing is then subtracting 1, or that many spaces, however many spaces we needed to do. So we are going to subtract 1 from 5. So negative 5 minus that 1 space we did gives us that negative 6, and that becomes the new exponent. All right, pause this and try these next two, and then we'll unpause it and go over it. So we have 7.5, and we're going to divide that by 2.5. That gives us 3. 3 times 10, and now we have to do our exponents. The top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So 12 minus, and then we have to put that second minus in there for the negative 4. And it gives us a positive 16. Because that 3 is between 1 and 10, no more adjustments. That is the final answer. All right, the last problem. Again, pause this and try it yourself, and then check your answers as you go. 4.2 divided by 12.6. It gives us a 0.3 repeating. Ooh, that's kind of a nasty one. 1/3. So we're going to round that. We're going to call that 0.33. Let's just call it 0.33. Times 10. 5 minus 2 would be 3. Let's adjust that 1 over. Call that 3.3 times 10. And because we moved it 1 to the right, we are going to subtract one of the exponents. And that would be 1 space that we're going to subtract. So 3 minus 1 would be 2. And that would bring us to make these two equal, but also leave that into scientific notation. So that's that. Pretty straightforward. Divide, then subtract, then adjust.